All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our latest addition to the Try This at Work series. Today's session continues in a series of sessions on mobile productivity, right? We're all on the go. In the Northern Hemisphere, as summer is approaching and people are going to be out and about doing things, you want to make sure that you're effective and productive wherever you are on the go. And today's session, which will be led by Greg, is on Outlook Mobile and how to be productive on the mobile devices with regards to email and calendaring, etc. And so with that here, like I said, the session's focus today is on the Outlook mobile application. How can you maximize the use of Outlook mobile? Yes, it's email, but there's a lot of really good things that we've baked into the Outlook mobile application that make it a smarter way for you to quickly triage email, to schedule calendar invites with people, and find others within your organization. So Greg's got a great action-packed demo here for you. No slides, all demo, so that's the best kind of session from our perspective. And so with that brief little intro here, for the next 30 or so minutes, we're going to have Greg run through a demo. So with that, Greg, take it away. We'll cut over to you.
Thanks so much, Chris. Hello, everyone. Glad we could be here with you today. I want to start out, let's talk about a little bit around our Outlook mobile application. And the first thing that I want to do is I want everybody to kind of follow along if you would like. Go to your Play Store, depending on your device. If you don't have these applications already installed, and just search for Microsoft Outlook and go ahead and install that now. So if you want to do that now, I've already got it installed, as you can see. And if you don't have another application called Microsoft Word on your device, you can go ahead and install that as well too. So one of the things that's important is with our Outlook mobile experience, it does integrate very tightly with our other Office mobile applications. So go ahead and get those put in there on your device as we start walking through this. Now, what I want to do first is actually to get things started, I'm actually going to launch my Word mobile app, and I'm going to create a quick document, and this is going to be part of what I'm going to present to you today. You can see it's very easy for me to create a new document. You can see it's defaulting me to store into my OneDrive, which is where I would really want to save all of my documents that I create. And I'm going to create a blank document to start with. There's a cool little trick that Chris has shown me that is really cool, that I can quickly create some content in here by just typing an equal sign, the word RAND, R-A-N-D, and then a number enclosed in parentheses. And basically it's going to create some random text, the number specifying how many paragraphs. And you can see I've got a document now. And then I'm going to create a name for this document. I'll just call it status 6.5.18. There we go. And now I've saved that document in my OneDrive. There we go, got it renamed. And I'm just going to go ahead and close out of that, and we'll launch over into Outlook. Perfect. So now as we go over to Outlook, one of the things that you'll see, I've got a pretty familiar look and feel inside of my Outlook, all of my messages. And I want to start out by going through, once you get Outlook installed, you really want to configure it for your preferences. So when I click on the waffle up here at the top left, or the hamburger we like to call it sometimes, you can see I get a list of information here, all of my folders that are important that I want to file messages in. But down here at the lower left, there's a small gear. And one of the things that you'll see above the gear is a question mark, and that's for help and feedback. What's important inside of this application is that if you ever have a question about how to do something, you can see we've got a lot of information. We've got an FAQ list. You can search through this to find how to do different things on the device, and it makes it easy for you to find what you need to get started. So back into the settings here at the lower left is a little gear, and I'm going to go into the settings. There again at the top, you can see highlighted the help and feedback. And the first thing I see are my accounts. Now I've already got my account set up. The first time you launch the Outlook mobile app, it's going to ask you to set up your account. You just put in your corporate email address and your credentials for that. You can also add an account like your OneDrive for Business, and it's easy to add an account. You can see here I can add another email account. If I had a personal account, I might want to put in to my system, or maybe it's a shared mailbox that I have access to. So it's really easy to add additional accounts, whether they're mail or storage accounts. Now, when I click on my account, what we'll get are some options that I can set up and configure inside of my account. One of those is automatic reply. So as Chris said, summertime's coming. You're probably going to want to take your family to the beach or get out of town, and you want to make sure everybody knows that you're out of the office and that they may not get a response back from you immediately. So here you can see I can set up that automatic reply if I want to have a different message for internal and external. So very similar to what you have in your Outlook client. And then you can save that and turn that on, and then that'll send those auto replies out for you while you're gone. And I'm going to save that. The other thing that's important here is you can see I've got the ability to sync contacts. And there's a lot of context sensitive help buttons that you'll see throughout the application. When I click on that question mark, I get a little information. I can click on Learn More. It'll take me to a web URL in the FAQ to help me to see what that means. But one of the things that's important with the sync contacts here is this is going to sync the contacts that I have in my Outlook mobile client to my phone device. And that's cool because then I get caller ID integration for all of my corporate accounts that I've got in my contacts. So that's really a good feature to use. The other thing that you'll see here is to reset or delete the account. Maybe you've got an issue with sync on your device and you need to reset that. You just click on reset account. That'll reinitialize the synchronization and get things back in line for you. And if you wanted to remove the account, you could just click delete. When we come back to the settings, what you'll see is that we have a number of different configuration settings that we can set up for, first of all, for mail. So within notifications, I can get set up. I want to have a special sound when I have my volume enabled. So you can see I can select multiple ringtone sounds for a new mail message. I can also have a separate sound for my when I send a message. And then I also can enable the vibrate mode of my device. So maybe if I want to have sound muted, I still want to get a notification that I've got a new message. I can also set up an auto signature similar to what I get on my Outlook client. I can put, thank you or a nice signature there, and I can do multiple lines, and then I just click the checkbox to save that. Now you can see that's my new auto signature. So all my outgoing emails will have that inserted automatically. I have swipe options. So when I'm in my mail list, I can set up a right and left swipe command. So in my case, I've got a right command. I want to flag that message for follow-up. You can see the different options that I have available: delete, archive, mark it as read or unread. The other thing that's cool is I can do a schedule. Schedule allows you to schedule a message to come back later and remind you. So maybe I have a message that comes in. I want to make sure that I look at that later. I'll show you that when I'm in the message list, but it's a pretty cool feature. And then I've got my swipe left to move to a folder. So I've set those up in here. The other thing we have is the focused inbox. So if you're familiar with the focused inbox in Outlook, this is where we can intelligently, through our machine learning process, pre-sort your email so that we put things that matter in your focused inbox. Next to that, we'll have the other inbox, and that's where we can kind of offset things that we want to look at later, things that are bulk mail, automatically generated. Maybe we want to classify messages, and we can do that through our message interaction. But this allows us to get this focused inbox where things that are important we want to show up in the forefront. And we can also have a badge count, so our notifications that show up in our toast menu at the top will tell us how many of those new messages that we've got there. We also have threaded conversations view, so we can turn that on or off with the toggle of a switch. I like to keep things organized in a conversation view or a thread so that it's easy to see everything related to that. Others might like to see every message individually, so it's up to your personal preference. Similarly, on the calendar, we've got notifications as well with sounds. Maybe you want to have how long when you create an item, you want to have alerts set as defaults. You also have the different sounds and vibration capabilities as well that you can configure there. Another cool thing that we have inside of our Outlook mobile app is integration or connections with other applications and add-ins. We've got a number of calendar apps that you can build or add in. You can see the list that we have now. Wunderlist is a cool one to manage your tasks. You've also got Facebook and Evernote for reminders, so you can add those into your Outlook experience. We've also got some interesting calendars. Maybe you want to add your favorite sports team to your calendar list, so all of their games will show up on your calendar. You can track that for your personal use, or even with your friends, you want to get together for the game. So that's kind of cool. The other thing I have is some add-ins. You can see I've got a number of add-ins that are available. One of those is that I've got selected here already installed is the Microsoft Translator. This is a tool or an add-in that gives us the ability to translate messages into different languages. So this is imported in a lot of our multilingual environments we have in enterprises today. And I'll show you how that works in a moment with the Translator Service. Finally, we have some accessibility options. So those that might be vision impaired can increase the contrast of the client to help you with seeing that more easily. We can also tell all your friends about Outlook. So we want you to tell your friends how cool Outlook is, and you can share that in any number of different social medias, and it'll set up an email message or a notification out to those to share that with your friends, get them to install Outlook. And finally, I've got other applications from Microsoft that I can easily go to install. You can see I've got a number of them already installed, but I also have some available. And this is just a quick link to the application store for you to go install those right to the app. So that's the settings. Once you've got all your settings configured, how you want your client to work, now we can walk through the inbox experience. What you can see here is at the top, I've got my focused inbox, and I can click on and go to my other inbox. I also have the ability to get notified for all those emails, and you can see I can scroll through. I've got a number of messages in here. And what's also important is that you can see that focused inbox is that machine learning based configuration. So one of the things that I had when I look at a message is I can actually click up here at the top right, and I can move to my other inbox. And this is where I train the focused inbox to say, hey, this is a message that I think is not as important, and I need it to show up in my other inbox. And if I select move this and all future messages, this is where when I get new messages that match this criteria or similar to this, it's going to automatically move those to my other inbox. So that's a cool way to help manage your mail. The other thing I have is that those swipe actions. So you remember I set up a swipe action. So I'm going to swipe right, and that's going to flag that message. If I were to swipe right again, it's going to unflag. And then I had the left swipe set up to move to a folder. So now I've got my folder list here. I can select and choose what folder I want it to go to. Or if I want to create a new folder, I can type a new folder name right here and go ahead and move that over to that folder. I'm going to just move this over to a status report folder. So you can see I've got the checkbox next to the folder, and then I just click OK, and that conversation gets moved over there. I do get a quick undo option as well. The other thing I have at the top of my inbox is a set of filters. So if I click the filter button, I can change from my all messages. Maybe I want to just see the unread ones that I haven't taken action on yet. I want to see all of my flagged messages, so that's easy to see all the ones that I've got flagged for follow-up. Or I want to see everything that's got an attachment. I'm looking for a specific attachment that I know I just got from somebody like Megan just recently. So it's easy to filter those messages. When I'm ready to create a message, down at the lower right, I've got a little pencil that I can just click on, and that's going to create a new message. Now, since we've got this integrated in with our Office 365 environment and our corporate global address list, I can simply start typing somebody's name, and you can see I get a list of people that match. I'm going to send a message to Isaiah, and I want to say, hey, please review. And if you recall, I created, oops, if I could spell it would work. There we go. I created that file earlier, my status report, and I want him, Isaiah, to take a look at that. So what I'm going to do is click on the little paperclip, and I can choose a file from my device. I could take a picture or choose from my photo gallery, or I'm going to choose from files, and this is going to pull up my OneDrive for Business. And what we'll see here is that status that I just created for 6/5/18. There's that file, and I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to insert a link. So a link is going to attach a cloud or a modern attachment, a cloud attachment. so that when Isaiah gets that file, or that email, he's going to have a link to that file that's stored in my OneDrive for Business, and then we can work together on that same version of the truth, that same file that's stored in my OneDrive. You can see my auto signature that I updated shows up automatically in there, and I'm going to go ahead and click the top right, the little arrow, and that's going to send that message over to Isaiah. So some of that rich integration with OneDrive for Business. What we can also do is multiple selective messages. So I've got multiple messages here. I might have, as I click on Megan's face here, if you don't have pictures, you'll see the person's initials. And now I can take actions on those messages. I might want to move them all to a different folder, maybe mark them as read or unread. And I can change that back just by simply, mark as read. I might want to flag all of those. And here's that schedule option where I can click on schedule, and I want to schedule this message. It's going to hide it from my inbox, and then it's going to reappear at the top of my inbox with a notification at the specified point in time that I select. I've got some default settings here that I can pick for later today or tonight, maybe tomorrow, or I can even choose a specific date and time to schedule that message to reappear. So it helps me manage my time, manage my messages, and how I want to take care of those when they come back in. The other thing that I can see is when I have a new message that comes in. So here's one from Megan. I can click on the lower commands. I've got reply all, or forward. I can also click on the dots right next to the header there, and you can see I've got reply, forward, and delete. And here you can see I've got a document that Megan has attached to this particular file, and I can click on that document. Because we have the rich integration with the Office mobile apps, you can see I've got that application or that file opened up right here in my Word mobile. And now I can edit this, I could save it, I can make changes. If it was a document that was stored in Megan's OneDrive for Business, then she would see the updates that I made to that dynamically. Another cool feature that we've got inside of Office Outlook Mobile is these people cards that we've got. So one of the things you can say when I click on Megan's picture is it brings up information about Megan's account. So you can see I've got her email address, her phone number, her location. And part of this is related to what we call our Office Graph, which is surfacing up through machine learning things that are relevant to us based on how we work, who we work with, content, people we communicate with. And here you can see all of the different conversations that I've had with Megan, that I can quickly see what's going on around her recently, what that Megan and I have been communicating about. Here's some attached files. So here's that harmless doc you saw that I just opened that are recent. And we've also got all of the recent events or upcoming events that we've had, Megan and I have had together. We've got some meetings that we're in together. And then the contact details, I can quickly start an email message here, or I could copy the email address. I could also give her a call or send an SMS text message. So it makes it really easy for me to see information about Megan and get to where I need to with communicating with her. The other thing that we've got inside of Outlook is this rich search capability. So at the very bottom, I've got a little magnifying glass, and if I click on that magnifying glass, one of the things you'll see that pops up is my recent contacts. This is, again, part of that Office Graph that's surfacing up things that are relevant to me. I've also got recent files. So here you can see that status report that I just created, status 6.5.18. And I can do things like I could pick on, I'll pick on Megan again, and that brings up all of the contact information I have for Megan, all of the files, or messages that we've worked on together, and I can toggle over the little button here that will show me only the messages that have attachments. So I know Megan sent me a file that I need to get to quickly, and I was able to instantiate that through the search. The other thing I can do is I can search for words or phrases in here. So I'm going to search for the word status, and now you can see I'll get information about all the messages that I have that have either the word status in the message or in any of the documents that are attached. And here you can see I also have the filter to be able to filter for files or messages that have attachments. When we come back to the main screen, the other option we have inside of our Outlook mobile application is the ability to manage our calendar. Calendaring is very important. We obviously need to have meetings and sessions with people and interact with them, and we need to be able to keep track of that. When I click on the calendar icon, you can see that I've got a view set up. It takes me out for my next 2 weeks. I can drag that down and switch around to any place in the calendar that I want. I'm going to stick with today. The other thing that I can do is slide back and forth on the calendar itself. You can see I'm switching between days, and I have different views that I can select. This is my day view. I can also switch to an agenda view where I can just see the meetings that I have in order, and I can also switch to a 3-day view. So maybe I want to take a look out for the next few days and see what I've got going on. The other options that I have in here is I can select the hamburger up here next to my calendar. And one of the first things you see is I actually have multiple calendars in my view. So Megan has shared her calendar with me, and it's really easy. You can actually share your calendar inside of the Outlook mobile app. So here you can see I can select a color that I want my calendar to look like, and I might want to share my calendar with Isaiah. Isaiah is somebody that I work with a lot. And I've added Isaiah, and here you can see I can pick what level of details or permissions that Isaiah has to my calendar. So I might want to set this up for Isaiah. I've set the permissions. I want him to actually be able to edit because I want to delegate him. And then I press the check box or the check mark, and now Isaiah has got access to my calendar. So this is really cool because this is a fairly recent feature that we've added to the client. Calendar delegation and sharing. A lot of people have this requirement, and it makes it easy to do that right from the mobile device. We've also got Megan's calendar, so I can click on that, and you can see I can pick a different color for Megan. I can even remove that shared calendar if I choose to do so. A couple of other things we have, we can click back on settings. This takes us back to the main settings page. But the main thing I'll show you now, so you can see that Megan's calendar items are in pink. Nestor, who is my persona here, are in blue. And we've got those overlaid, and if I check back here, I can turn Megan's off and just see mine, or I can even turn mine off and just see Megan's just by unselecting those in the view. When I want to create a new meeting, I just can click on the little plus button down at the lower right. So I'm going to create a new meeting, and I want to set this up as a lunch meeting. And I'm going to add some people to this. So I'm going to add Megan, who is someone who I work a lot with, and I'm going to add Isaiah too. We're working on a team together. I click the checkbox, and now I've added these people. You can see I can select if it's an all-day event or not. I'm going to put this out in the future. Let's do this on Friday. And then I want to set the time. And when we pull up the time, you can see that I can click and drag this around wherever I might want to. And we're going to set this up for 11 o'clock. I can also pull one of the buttons on the top or bottom to make it longer so I can expand the time. So it makes it really easy. Then I can pick a location. Now this is kind of cool because we've got integration with location-based services on Bing Maps. And I might want to pick a restaurant that we're familiar with. There's a really cool sake and sushi bar in Seattle, and it's called Umisaki House. And I'm going to go ahead and add that. And one of the things you'll see is that it goes ahead and it pulls up a map based on my device and my default map program. And then when the recipients get this, they'll be able to click on that map, get directions right to the location, and easily find where we're going to meet for lunch. If I have Skype for Business set up and enabled, I can also set this up as a Skype meeting. I can put a description in here for us to know what we're going to be talking about. And then I can simply save that meeting. I can set up a repeat. So if I want to have a recurring meeting, we might want to do this on a weekly basis, or let's do this on a monthly basis on the 8th day of each month. And then I also have the ability to set up an alert, how I want to show this on my calendar, whether it's busy, free, tentative, out of office. And then I can also set a privacy setting. So if I've shared my calendar with other people, I can mark this event as private and they won't be able to see the details of that. Then I just click the checkbox, the meeting event is created, and the invitation is sent out to the people who I've invited to that. Pretty good stuff. Once I set that meeting up, I might want to change that meeting. One of the things that I can do at the bottom, you can see I can email all of my attendees. So I might be running late, and what I do is it will automatically create a new message for me. It'll say, hey, this lunch meeting, I'm running late, thank you, and then I can quickly send that on the go. Or if I need to change it, I just click the pencil, and then I can change this event. Maybe I need to adjust the time or the location, or I can even delete the event. And we'll just click on delete, and I'll delete that event. It'll send the meeting cancellation notification to everybody who was invited. So really good stuff here. When I switch back over to my inbox, you'll see that I do have a meeting notification that I've got here that Megan sent to me, and I can do an RSVP. I can add a message. See you then. See you there. And then I can accept, tentative, or decline, and I'll go ahead and accept that one. A couple other cool things that I want to show you is that we've got, if you recall, I added the Microsoft Translator Service in as an add-in. I want to click on this message that Megan sent to me that she says, hey, can you translate this? And if you can see, it's in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish fluently, so I need some help. So I'm going to click the three dots next to Megan, and at the bottom left, you can see I get an option of translate message. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and what's going to happen is the Microsoft Translator Service is going to turn that and convert it and translate it into English, which is my selected language. If I drop down that box, you can see we have a pretty extensive set of languages that we can select. Maybe let's pick another one, Italian, and you can see it's very fast and easy and really pretty accurate as well. So our translation service has gone through a lot of development work to make this easy and effective. One other thing we've got that I'll point out is you can see that we've got voicemail integration if you do have some translation service available here. So I've gotten a voicemail as an MP3, and you can see that the text has been converted out for me, the speech to text, so that I have the ability to quickly read that voicemail, and then I can always click on the MP3 and listen to that voicemail as well. So if you have a system with voicemail integration with your email, you'll easily have that access and capability as well. So that's my demo for today. I want to say that to thank you very much for your time. I think you'll enjoy using the Outlook application. I encourage you to start integrating your daily use on your mobile device with our Outlook mobile application, as well as all of our Office web applications. You'll find that you can become very productive regardless of where you might be, especially when you're away from the office. So leverage the tools that we've got available for you. You can download them all from your application store, regardless of which platform you're on, iOS, Android, or Windows Phone. And with that, I'll switch it back over to Chris.
And so with that, today's rapid fire session, thank you very much for attending, and have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.